working very hard in the PAS program in the city of Portage, so that's important as we look at the future. Healthcare. Now, I'll unashamedly, biasly say we have a great healthcare system here in Portage, and when we look at how we're going to be as a community, our healthcare is very important. And then finally, education. Education, vitally important. As we look at how we're going to maintain and attract business in this community, those three things are so vitally important that we're good or great at all of those, and that's why we're all here tonight, and that's why I'm here, to help work with all of us as to how we're going to be great. Now, I would like to call your attention to those pictures on the back there. Contrary to popular belief, I do not remember the building on the far right. I did not go to high school in the building on the far left, but I am old enough to remember when that building was still standing. I'm old enough to remember when high school was a 3-year high school, not a 4-year high school, but I am a proud graduate of Portage. My kids are proud graduates of Portage, and I look forward to working with all of you over the next 3 days as we can go from being what we are to even better than what we are. So let's have a lot of fun the next few days. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Tierney. Next up, our event coordinator, Drew Houck. He's been working with our design team. Those of you who are on the design team that are here, can you stand up, please? Surprise. This design team is the group who was putting this together. This is, as you can see, a mix of community members, a few staff members, and one administrator. So I want to thank them for all their efforts. Drew Houck.
Good evening. Let me be the third and I believe the final person here tonight to welcome you for your participation in this very special event. My name is Drew Howick, and as Matt said, I will be the person who will be helping to facilitate this conversation, and I'll say a little bit about my role and your roles here in a couple of minutes. So I just want to take 10 or 15 minutes or so to orient you to what's going to be happening here for the next 14 hours. This community conversation is probably a different type of conversation than most people have been involved with. And you probably get a sense of that already by just looking around the room. You have been invited purposely to attend and participate in this conference because of who you are and what you bring to this particular community. The word participate is very descriptive, actually, because you can't really attend this. There are no speeches other than what I'm doing right now. All of the data that is created is driven by you. And I'd like to overview how this process will work. So you will have a chance between now and Saturday to express your views on a lot of very interesting issues and opportunities that this community is facing. And you also have a chance to hear from people who you may not have met or heard from before. And I challenge you to keep an open mind to the different perspectives that you may in fact hear, because I suspect you will hear some different points of view than maybe you normally have heard in the past. And that is part of this particular design, because we are looking for different perspectives and an opportunity to share this. You come here because you have a history with this community, maybe even this school district itself. And people in this room have all sorts of experiences and insights and convictions and energy and commitments to this district and this community. And we are here to have an opportunity to share those different perspectives. So, as Matt mentioned, you're gathered here with a very diverse group of people. I mean, just look around. You have people from all walks of life. You have people that are students in this room, parents of the students, and even parents and their students are here today, which is wonderful. You have people from the community that are from local government, from local businesses. You have people that have been lifelong citizens, and you've got folks who are relatively new to this district. You have administrators and teachers and support staff. People from all walks of life who have a different stake in this school district and in this community. And so sometimes you will hear us talk about stakeholders, and that's who these different perspectives are that are in this room. Let me draw your attention to the purpose of this event, which is basically, fundamentally is to engage you in the conversation, to develop a deeper understanding of the district, and to create a vision. That is one of the major outputs of this, is to create a vision of what you want to see in your school district so it meets the needs of your students and the community. So to that end, there are 5 different goals that have been identified. It is highly likely when we talk about issues and trends that the issues and trends you are facing today are different than, say, 10 years ago. And we want to hear what you see as some of the issues and trends that this district and this community is facing. You're going to create a shared understanding of the district and the role in the community. My guess is you have some insights into what is currently that relationship, and we want to hear those loud and clear. The third goal is to identify the skills and attributes this community desires in their students. When you have identified those skills and attributes, the district is in a great position to make some fundamental choices about how it structures and provides educational opportunity to build on those attributes and skills. So this is a very important deliverable of this conversation. We also want to identify ways to strengthen the relationships within the community. This is an area where there's always room for improvement. In the 40 or 50 school districts I've worked with in the last 20 years, no one has been satisfied with the communication and the relationship between the district and the community. And so we're looking for ideas on how to strengthen that. And then the last deliverable or goal of this is to identify themes for potential action that you would like to see addressed. So this is an opportunity for all of us collectively to explore and shape ideas on what you would like to do to help your students be prepared for tomorrow. The methodology that we're using is referred to as a future search. I was introduced to this by about 20 years ago. And as I mentioned, I've worked with a number of communities in the state of Wisconsin using this methodology. And you'll notice here, it's purposely designed to bring a diverse group of people together and to focus on the future and to focus on the common ground that you want to see in the future. So there are a couple of principles that guide this conversation. Let me say a couple things. The whole system is in the room. Again, broad cross-section of stakeholders that are here having a conversation to get a clear vision of what you're looking for. Global exploration before local action. One of the things that we will do tonight is that we will take a look and step back and look at our history before we talk about our future. And I think you'll find this a pretty interesting exercise and discussion that will be generated. Again, we want to focus on the future and common ground. We need to understand our history for us to understand what's going on now, because that history is going to tell us something about what we want to see in the future. Self-management and responsibility. When you are involved in activities, and there's about 8 or 10 activities that will occur over these 14 hours, you will be doing it in tables this size, maybe a little larger, and you will be responsible for the discussion at your table. You will have facilitators, you will have recorders, you will have reporters, and all of this will be managed, and you'll see how this flows even later tonight. The last thing is that everyone relates as peers. So there are no special experts here because we all have a perspective. Titles, accolades are not important. Everyone's on a first name basis when we're together. Okay, so those are some of the principles. Basically, when you look at this, what we're trying to do is basically ask some fundamental questions. What is our history and what does it mean? What's happening today within the community and the district, inside and outside of the system that we need to understand? and then what do we want for the future and how do we get there? So you can see that past, present, future flow. It's pretty straightforward. In terms of things that you can do, you can construct databases when you've got a large group of people. You can explore differences of opinion about those. You can create visions of the future, and you can clarify and document this. Everything that is discussed at your table will be recorded. Some of it will be recorded on a flip chart, others will be recorded on a laptop, which will be distributed later. So everything is discussed at each table will have a record and will be transcribed and available to anybody in this room and in your community itself. What you can't do with 80 people in the room is you can't work all of the differences of opinion, and you can't necessarily get closure on all the ideas. But we're not here to work the differences of opinion. We're here to find out what do we share in common and what do we have a vision for in terms of the future. Okay? So, a lot of work here. What are your roles and responsibilities? Listed up above. You provide all the information. You do all the analysis. You manage your small groups. You identify possibilities and future scenarios. And you are the ones that discover the common ground. And since you're doing all this, you might ask, well, what are you doing here? Well, I'm here to do a couple things. One, I set the times and the tasks based on the decisions that the design team made. I help facilitate the larger group discussions. So when you work on your tables, we want to know what you talked about at your table, so I can help you manage that. I can help you manage the major themes that emerge, and that's a task that you help me with. And basically, I'm here to keep the purpose front and center as we work together. So a couple of ground rules that we need to keep in mind as we work together. One is the concept that I suspect we're all familiar with in brainstorming and so on, is that all ideas are valid. All points are discussed and recorded. Time frames must be observed and managed carefully if we're going to accomplish what we said we are. And we will again work to seek common ground for all information that we look at. Okay? When you came in, you got a packet. Orange, I want to draw your attention to just a couple of things in this packet before we move on to the discussions. One, you'll notice that the goldenrod piece of paper gives you a high-level overview of our agenda. So this tells you a little bit about the starting times and what we hope to accomplish, and we will stay within all of these times. We will start on time, and we will end on time. So that gives you that. And then there's information, facts at a glance about your district, which you may be familiar with and maybe not, but this is all information, and any paper that you receive can be put into this as well. All right. So, before we move to introductions at your tables, just a couple of comments about logistics. First, for those who may not have been in this room for a while, restrooms are over here behind the registration table. If you haven't helped yourself to food, please notice that that is available, and I think most of it will be available through the evening as well. The seating for tonight, I think, Lori, are we okay in terms of numbers and tables for tonight's conversation? Okay. So we've combined a couple tables tonight because there's some people who are joining us tomorrow who are just unable to be here tonight. So that's why we have done that. Okay. All right. So we want to move to some introductions. Find out a little bit more about the people at your table. We've allocated 15 minutes for this, and what we'd like you to do when I'm through here in about a minute or so is first just introduce yourself to everybody at your table. Share something about yourself that you think is appropriate, including your relationship to the Portage Community School District. What is that? You may have multiple relationships. The second thing we'd like you to share is why did you choose to be here tonight? You were invited. You could have said no, but you said yes. And as Matt says, we're very grateful for that. So why did you choose to be here tonight? And the third thing that the design team thought would be kind of fun is to tell us a little bit about your school mascot. Have a little fun with that, if you can even remember it. I'm seeing a couple people going, oh my God, what was my mascot? And maybe awards will be presented for the most interesting mascot, right, Martha? So you have about 15 minutes for this discussion. So if I could ask that someone at your table volunteer to watch the time and do the math. If you got 6 people, 6 goes into 15, 4 goes into 16, etc. You're
going to time us?
I will interrupt you in 15 minutes from now. Thank you.
Going to start us off.
Yes, first category out of our time capsule here has to do with some of the leaders that we have from Portage. You've been here a little longer than me. What do you think?
Well, I've noticed everything old is new again. I think it's really great that so many of our retirees have chose to stay in the Portage community. Do you remember, did you know that Governor Rohrbeck was from Portage?
I do remember that Governor Rohrbeck is from Portage. In fact, it was at a community event, I don't know, I think it was 2014, where he first talked about his vision for the state. And you know what? It's his great apathy for his constituents that has brought us to a new funding formula here in the state of Wisconsin.
Yes.
How about the superintendent, Mr. Pooches? He's still around.
He is. He's really wanted to stay involved in the community, and so he's been delivering Meals on Wheels to Judy Coos.
Yeah, I heard that. He's also doing deliveries for some of our specialty shops around here. So that's been good to see that he's still involved. How about our own Supreme Court Judge Andy Boyd? He's done a lot for our community.
He has. He really got our reluctant law-abiding citizens. He was really great at showing them the error of their ways, and now this community is just thriving with great people.
Yeah, I remember the day a newcomer to town had 1 foot in prison and 1 foot out of prison. I think his name was Brian Scheibach. And Brian started up a tech company now that's working with our schools. And we also have Trader Bridget's, thanks to you. It's a little bit of a spinoff, but it's doing well. And then our coffee store, who actually it's owned by Judy Coos, but because of some difficulties with their health, we've got Robin Paula, who's running that right now. Yeah.
The Robin egg lives again.
Yeah, so it's nice that we see all of these new businesses that are up and coming, because it kind of drove Walmart out of town. Walmart died. But there's so much more to remember. I think we should pull something else out of our time capsule here and see what else we can find.
All right.
Does that mean it's my turn?
That means it's your turn.
Oh, good. Lucky me. I think I want this big thing. Judy, look. It's a map of Portage from 2014.
Who are you again?
I'm Andy Boyd. Remember you knew me when I was really little?
Andy, nice of you to come and visit me.
Well, and I'm just happy that they let you out of Tivoli 3.
I'm happy, really happy.
But isn't it amazing how downtown Portage looks so different today? How there are so many new businesses, and we have a thriving downtown that just didn't exist 10 years ago.
And can you believe they finished that canal
I
project?
know, it's amazing. And the Paths project that went with it, they're now open year-round for people.
Well, I know that. When they let me out of Tivoli, I take walks back there.
I'm glad you find your way back. The other thing that I think is probably the most amazing is that for the first time that I can remember, the industrial park is full. We have a thriving community. There are activities that now we're on the second splash pad. It is absolutely amazing what's available to our citizens, both from an employment and a recreation perspective.
There are so many new people here in town. I barely know anybody anymore.
Judy, are you sure that that's just because maybe Alzheimer's is speaking?
Andy. I don't know.
All right, well, okay. I just want to make sure that you're going to be all right. You would need me to take you back now?
Aren't we gonna talk to some school people?
Well, you know, I think we should.
I think
We should do that.
too.
Hi, oh, it's good to see you again, Judge Boyd.
Well, look at this. The next thing in here is an old individualized education plan. Remember when we had those? Wow, we put kids into categories and, we labeled them by disability and age and demographics.
How crazy was that? We funneled kids into buildings specific to where they lived and their age. No wonder he had so many social and emotional and behavioral issues.
I remember the high school with their blocks or their periods, and kids had to come at a certain time, and they had to stay there all day, and there was no choice for them, and they just had to take these few choices, and now it's unlimited choice.
I do remember that. I remember no one wanted to be an educator. And even we funneled teachers into education silos, and we made them teach small bits of information that most kids could have gotten on the internet. Oh, the internet! Do you remember when we called it that?
Now we have this new community center where family members all come, infants through older adults, and we interact on a daily basis to learn together.
And you remember the school year, how the school year started on a specific day and ended on a specific day? I mean, now that we have this choice and we have all these opportunities and how the kids can use their school year all year round.
I do. I remember when they made that law that it couldn't start before September 1st, and they forgot that the Labor Day is not always September 1st. Remember when only the kids who didn't succeed in that one-size-fits-all, that they were the ones that had IEPs or ISFPs? Oh man, that brings back memories of Infinite Campus and how it was so hard to pull off all those forms, especially when Google would go down. For the whole day.
We didn't know what to do with ourselves.
I know. Okay, where are we here?
Oh, we have to do our thing. Oh, okay. Oh, and that brings back, oh, I already said that. Oh, yeah. Oh, and now with our community center, we have lifelong learning maps. Speaking of that, check out this new stream of our superintendent.
Oh my gosh, I see it now. Isn't that adorable? Look at the smile on Papa Kitty's face.
Oh, what a cute puppy. I can't wait to meet that family.
And thank you all for coming out again today, and welcome to our brand new community center.
Hello, this is Don Burgundy, live from Box World News. I've been traveling around the state of Wisconsin lately, and I've heard quite a bit of buzz about the city of Portage. And today we have the mayor, Bill Tierney, here with me. Mayor, what are the secrets to Portage's success?
Well, Don, first of all, thank you for allowing me to speak with great pride about my community here. The changes that the Portage Schools District has implemented in recent years has made it really easy to not only attract but retain businesses in our communities. The quality of the offerings and the staff are a real selling point amongst with businesses who are thinking of moving here with employees and their families. And as a result, we've seen property values are rising, and lately we've had a real boom in build-to-own homes. And lastly, but by no means least, the community service that all students participate in has generated enormous civic pride and lasting human connections district-wide.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor. Next we have B.A. Betsy. B.A. Betsy will now talk about the business operations of this district.
Thank you so much for coming to Portage, Wisconsin to hear about our acclaimed nationally school district. We appreciate in our community the overwhelming support financially from passing the 11th operational referendum in the district. It's just amazing. These resources continue to provide nationally accredited teachers for our students so that our nationally recognized student programming, both academic and co-curriculars, continue and we have a great parent and community partnership. It's the Warrior Way here in Portage, Wisconsin.
Well, thank you very much. And next we have teacher Dr. Seuss. Doctor, what about Portage attracted you to come here for a job?
Thank you, Don, for having me. I chose Portage Community School District because they're innovative, they're progressive in their thinking, and they're offering a variety of courses for students and opportunities for our youth here in Portage. They are leaders in implementing year-round school. That really attracted me. That's how you maximize student learning and achievement opportunities. Achievement is off the charts. The technology they provide, oh my goodness. The city offers so much for our families. The public library is incredible, a great resource. The collaboration and partnership with our thriving business community is a great partnership to have. This community embraces diversity. The saying, it takes a village, that is truly what Portage is all about.
Well, thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you, Don. I really should write a book.
I think you should. And next we have our Sustainability Complex Director for the district. Director, what can you tell me about Portage High School's big project?
Hi, Don. I'm here to talk about our Sustainability Complex. Our mission is life, food, and learning. This complex features greenhouses for plants, fruits and vegetables, and continuous hydroponic production to feed the school. Research labs, animals, fields, and a forest, along with ongoing experiments and student projects are what you see here at the Portage Campus Sustainability Complex. Rainwater capture, wind and solar energy are key elements of the complex's commitment to renewable energy. We are off the grid and sell our surplus energy to nearby power plants to feed homes and businesses. This complex is the heart of the school. Every student has a deep connection and responsibility. Through this connection to the life cycle, students have become more responsible and compassionate. Drug use and missed days are at an all-time low. Every student is enriched with a sense of being needed and rewarded by seeing their impact on living things. The food service department sources all produce from the complex, and it's surprising how many students are eating more vegetables because they have connection and pride to their network.
That really is incredible. Thank you very much, Director. And now we're bringing up Tech Ed Ed. Ed, what is the Tech Ed Department's connection to this sustainability complex?
Well, I tell you, Don, the last 11 years, from 2014 to 2025, we've really exploded with the technical department. It's really gone to more. Working with the Sustainability Farm, I work with the young men and women of Portage and constructing and designing the windmills and solar panels. We work on electrical panel distribution and setup. We work on load usage, and we work on battery banks for energy storage. We work on high efficiency lighting, like LED lighting. We also work with building trades with all this and offer community help for energy efficient solutions for green built homes and to lighting. All this allows the kids to develop problem solving skills, time management skills, and teamwork, and math skills and communication.
Thank you very much. And next we have Pete and Pat Potter. They are from People's Plants in Portage. This is just one of the other few aspects, many aspects of the succeeding Portage system. So what can you tell me about your connection to this school and this community?
Well, Don, thanks again for coming to Portage. We really appreciate it. And as owners of the People's Plants in Portage, we're role models for other school districts. We have a great partnership with Portage Community Sustainability Complex.
All the students volunteer their time as part of the community service requirement. They sell the plants, fruits, and vegetables to the community at our local farmers market. They are able to explain the entire process from seed planting to harvesting all the way to marketing. Students are always respectful and courteous when dealing with the community patrons.
Yes, all proceeds go back to the Sustainability Complex. The students are also taking ownership and responsibility for managing this project. And we have in turn hired many Portage students.
Thank you very much. It seems like your business is really connecting with this district and giving so many different opportunities. Thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Next we have Carol Brady, who's a part of a program. It's called the Portage Parent Partnership. And Carol, what can you tell us about this program?
Well, first of all, Don, I just want to thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here representing the PPP. Initially, I have to admit that I wasn't very excited about taking parenting classes. However, the information that I was provided with was fabulous, and I began to make connections with other parents right away. I learned how to be a more effective parent. Plus, I learned how to communicate with the schools and get involved in the school. The other parents I met in the class became a great support group for me to have all throughout Cindy's years in school. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we really take pride and feel a sense of ownership for this district.
Thank you very much.
I just also want to, I'm proud to have my daughter Cindy with me, who just graduated. She has not only been prepared with essential academic skills, but she has many offers from colleges, partly due to the unique extracurricular opportunities she's had in Portage.
Congratulations.
Being a member of Future Business Leaders of America, our club manages the retail center, the annual budget inventory, and practices accounting for the sustainability complex. I have also been involved in student council, which has taken a major role in promoting community service. All students are involved in these activities. It's a part of our school's culture, and we have so much fun. I sure am glad my parents chose the Portage community to live in.
Thank you for being here, both of you. Now we're going to go to a coach and extracurricular activity director, Will the Warrior Lombard, for more on our extracurriculars. Coach, how are you doing today?
Well, Don, how are you?
I'm very good.
Good. Well, Don, we've got tremendous programs here in Portage. A lot of people ask me, what do you attribute that to? And we've just got top-notch student athletes. We're very committed. We got top-notch coaches, and we got communities and schools that support all of our programs. So practice time is never an issue in our school district. I know our success is unprecedented now that our teams combined have now beaten Wanakee 68 times in a row. But you still got to be impressed when you watch our athletes, how the empathy and the humility they show as we're giving them a beatdown.
That is very important as well.
I think some of their struggles, by the way, have to do with they identified apathy as one of their goals. At least. That's something to do with it. I guess the only other thing to add is we are aware of the petition being circulated to have Portage removed from the Badger Conference because it's no longer competitive enough for us.
I see.
But the tremendous state support, local support, do allow us to play intercollegiate teams when we need to stay competitive.
That's very good.
And if all else fails, we're going to have a raffle for this Ty Cobb myth that we recently found.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for being here. Well, there you have it. There's just a few of the many things that makes the Portage community and the school district such a wonderful place. And it's incredible to see how the news has traveled and how other communities and systems are trying to emulate this. So thank you once again. I am Don Burgundy with Box World News.
I think it's time we look into the future.
The future, Conan?
That's right, all the way into the year 2025.
In the year 2025. In the year 2025.
We are alive and well. The district is growing. Families are moving here. Our downtown is vibrant and teachers feel respected again.
In the year 2025. In the year 2025.
Come on, kid.
Hi. I'm coming back to the town. I graduated in 2014. What? Just a second. Daddy, look at what I found! Okay, it's calm down. Anyway,
You're moving into the district?
Great, and
I want to register my kids in school.
Okay, great. Well, we're really glad to have you in the Portage Community School District. To register you, we're going to have you come behind this screen because we do an automated screening that will identify the priorities and the strengths and the needs of your family so that we can best serve you. So if you and all of your 5 children can follow me this way.
I want to skate, Daddy.
I want to swim. Oh, let's go this way.
Okay, come on, kids.
You can find a seat. I'll help you get the
With all your
kids
sharp
in.
things you have in your pocket on the floor. I'll bring you a hammer.
In the year 2025, in the year 2025.
Please join me in welcoming Rob, our Warrior Way Welcome Wagon representative.
Hello, Scott. How are you today? I'm Rob. I'm the Warrior Way Welcome Wagon representative.
Oh, that booth was really weird.
Technology nowadays.
Okay.
So, what can I do to help you today?
Well, I mean, it told me, it did a complete assessment of me and my family, and it kind of listed off all these things that are available for me.
We have a plethora of services that we can offer you in Portage. I've noticed that with your body scan that we did, that you were a carpenter once and that you were injured.
Yep. You see, here's my tool belt, but I had to sell all my tools. Just to get gas to get here. So,
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but welcome to Portage. We are going to make it a wonderful place for you to raise a family. So, we have a service where we can offer you, we can assist you with rehab. We can assist you with rehab and retraining for a new career if that's necessary. But I also noticed your wife has passed recently, and that you...
yeah, she, there's some controversy there. Some people are saying she committed suicide, but I think she just was wore out from taking care of these kids.
Well, we have the services that we can help you with counseling, and then we also noticed that one of your sons,
Let me tell you.
one of your sons,
Here he is.
he could also use some services as well, and we can help you with that. If we have some outside sources, we can also put you in connection with the hospital, because we heard Divine Savior can help a person like this. And then housing. We realize that you are renting right now, and we do have services in Portage where we would like the opportunity to connect you with a banker that you may possibly be able to own your own house someday. And that may include outright, and it may also include working with Habitat for Humanity. We also have a program with our wonderful building trades class here at Portage High School, and we have had some success in building homes for our city as well.
And you mean all this stuff is connected to the school district?
All of this is connected with, it's a partnership between the city and the school district.
And the community too?
And the community, and it's all free to you. It's what we do here in Portage. It's the Warrior Way. We can also assist you with daycare, and we'd also like the opportunity to partner you with a mentoring family. Would you like to work with a family, maybe get to know a little bit more about Portage?
Well, I used to live here, but yeah, I think family would be out.
Great. And finally, we do have a wonderful community center in Portage, and we would also like to help you with that rehab since your injury. So, you know, I realize that it's going to be a tough road, but we'd like to get you back on track, and we're here to help you.
Great. Good.
In the year 2029, in the year 2029.
Okay, kids, let's go. Hey, Rob. seeing you again.
Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great.
The last 4 years now.
Well, I mean, I can see the kids are much better now. But,
One's
you
still
know,
wearing a helmet.
it's because he likes to skate, not because he needs it like he used to.
What have you learned about Portage? And you seem to be having a great time in our community. What do you like about Portage?
Oh, Portage's been fantastic. I've been involved in the sport programs. I've got to play football. I've gotten to participate in the last 4 of those wins over Wanakee, and now I'm getting to go to UW-Madison. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
It's been fun.
Thanks, Mike.
I want to swim, learn how to swim so I can be on the swim team.
All right, that's great.
I'm sure you do.
I was able to earn college credits while in high school.
All right.
And I like the splash pad. The splash pad is really cool. I can run through it, splash it, woo, all this stuff. And I really like the skate park too. I'm a national champ now, skateboard champ. Wonderful. So I just really love it, Portage.
All right.
I love hanging out at the community center and playing basketball with all my friends.
Wonderful.
Always starts from a good education. I mean, my kids have been well educated. I even went back to school. When I came here, I was an unemployed carpenter. I couldn't be a carpenter any longer. And you helped me get some job training, and then I went back to school. And next week, I'm going to be starting as a tech ed teacher at the high school. I really want to give back.
Well, wonderful, and thank you for your success story, and welcome to Portage. We are glad that you seem to warrior your way.
Well, you know, I really believe that just this community lives its motto. It takes a village to raise a family.
It takes a village to raise a family.
The setting is June 8th, 2025. The place, Portage Community Center. And we have a reunion. And this is what they're talking about, this magazine. It's the Wisconsin Association of School Board School News. So this is what they're talking about.
The Portage Community School District was awarded the School District of the Year award by the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. Portage was recognized for its innovation, creativity, and adaptability in better developing the academic skills and the positive attributes of its students. This amazing transformation was incubated as a direct result of a collaborative effort of over 80 students, teachers, government officials, business leaders, parents, and concerned citizens as part of the community conversation of education excellence held on June 5th through 7th of 2014. This group identified the many strengths that the district already possessed and identified areas for improvement that would better empower all students to attain their future goals and become productive and active members of this community.
Can you hear that, Larry? Can
Yeah,
you hear it?
what?
What? Do you need your hearing aid? Did you bring it today?
I got it.
Okay.
This community conversation for educational excellence focused on 5 primary areas for change and/or improvement. Project-based learning at the elementary and middle school levels, the creation of internships with local businesses at the high school level, efforts to attract and retain quality teachers, the fostering of community/school partnerships, and lastly, establishing an all-year school calendar. The first change was the creation of peer groups that were created after the 2nd grade school year. Peer groups of 10 students to build and cement relationships between students of varying academic skill levels, social economic backgrounds, ethnicity, and genders were created. These students met daily to collaboratively meet their unique academic and emotional challenges to create a cohesive bond. Students gain in all areas are regularly celebrated within the peer group and their parents. As a result, empathy for others has developed
across student, family, and community lines. These first peer groups are now ending their junior year of high school with friendships and experiences that will last them a lifetime.
Can you believe that? This all started back 11 years ago, and we were all part of that. That's amazing. What else does it say in that article, Austin?
Hold on, let me put my readers on. Secondly, classrooms developed team units and implemented project-based learning lessons. Through these project-based learning lessons, students learn to apply individual skills taught in each school setting in realistic applications. This also allowed students to develop and showcase talents in the areas of music, the arts, leadership, as well as academics. These also became a part of the peer group celebrations celebrated by students and parents. Every student has gifts and talents to offer their schools as well as their community. Moving forward, the hope is to foster project-based learning lessons within the community settings such as park projects, helping the elderly, and other community ventures.
Aren't we glad that you did that?
And the mayor, this community center is awesome. You know, all started there, you know?
Yep, and another important part of this transformation was the fostering of community school partnerships. A primary focus of the change was the continued nurturing of the peer group, which was now defined as the 10 students, their family members, and other community members. The quality of life of Portage residents throughout the use of the Portage Area Trailways and Heritage System, promoted by the city, and business leaders, has enhanced a healthier, happier citizenship. These changes positively impacted a healthier environment, promoted financial savings for individuals, and created an old-time sense of community pride. Many of these changes were made possible through the creation of the Portage Foundation. Over $15 million was donated for the development and building of our community centers and projects, which includes PATHS, Portage Community Center, which we're sitting in right here today, the Portage Skate Park, and an additional splash pad being built in locations throughout the city.
$15 million. Who'd have guessed?
At this time, the foundation was set for discussions needed to develop internships with local businesses. These internships fostered the acquisition of soft job skills that businesses had identified as needing improvement in Portage graduates back in 2014. Initially, groups of students were transported to MATC and local colleges. However, now colleges bring the technical curriculum to the high school setting. Local businesses started providing scholarships to students to acquire skills for the local industries. This is a win-win situation as businesses will gain highly qualified employees and students will gain lasting job skills and employment that will retain them in the Portage community.
It's so nice to see our students stay in Portage.
Yes.
And did you hear that they want us, the Portage Community Schools, parents, administrators, school board members, they want us all, we're going to be at the Wisconsin Association School Board Convention, and we'll be one of the keynote speakers there. So, and so.
Somebody picking me up?
A recurring theme of the Warrior Way Conference was the need to attract and retain quality teachers to provide the leadership skills necessary to bring about these creative changes in the way Portage would approach its educational philosophies moving forward. Business leaders took the lead, stating the obvious. Portage would not be competitive in attracting and retaining quality teachers with a compensation plan in place in 2014. A more competitive plan was collaboratively developed that would make Portage a destination location for highly trained, innovative teachers who wouldn't accept the idea it can't be done here. Today, June 8th, 2025, the Portage community is proud to celebrate the success in the school by financially rewarding its education staff, support staff, cooks, etc. with a more competitive wage. Portage no longer loses its teachers to other districts, and these teachers and their families reside and thrive in the Portage community.
And just Burgundy would not be superintendent.
A final and perhaps the biggest community change was the creation of an all-year school calendar. Much student and community input was sought for this final step. Initially, businesses feared the loss of a student workforce, but the creation of school-to-work programs and internships alleviated those fears. Ultimately, school officials realized that year-round school and continuity of learning was truly best for students. From an academic perspective, students retained knowledge and teachers could spend more time teaching new material and less time reviewing material from the previous year. Year-round school has lessened the need for remediation, which has helped retain students, and allows more opportunities for those who need it, which keeps graduation rates high. The community has benefited from year-round schools as there has been a decrease in transient families, which has helped to create a stable and reliable workforce.
A big thanks goes out to those dedicated 80 individuals back in 2014 who adopted the Warrior Way. The vision continues with you.
Portage rocks.
So now, Larry, I'm going to give you this. You get back and have someone read it to you again. We made the front cover story. Austin, could you help me get Larry back to his room? He needs his meds.
I'm Nathan Poches, and I'm here to present the vision for 2025 for groups 1 and 2.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, I'm Nathan in 2025.
No way, I don't look like that.
Really, you are. I am. Do you want me to somehow prove it to you?
Prove it.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Penny? 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 That was your favorite character? Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. That's ours.
Lucky guess.
Well, do you remember that weekend that your parents went away?
Okay. I believe you.
I can tell you that so much has changed in the 11 years since the community event where 80 people came together and talked about the future of what, at that time, you representing middle school as a 7th grade want and what you wanted as for future students. So a lot has changed and a lot of work has been done. Great things.
Well, I have some friends here that want to ask you some questions about the future.
That sounds great. I'd love to share.
Well, Nathan, you appear to have grown to be a well-rounded gentleman. We see you have a strong understanding of the basics of starting out in life.
Well, you know, it started early on. There was really a large community effort to expose what the role that art has in a variety of careers and getting parental involvement early on, as early as pre-K through 5, and creating a clear understanding for parents of what resources they could serve for their kids, the importance of life skills, providing them with resources, educational processes, and really opening lines of communication by creating activities such as good behavior, that recognize good behavior, manners, listening, just basic things that we want all of our citizens to have. But we also created some experiential learning in partnership with community-based projects through gardening, hunting, providing food for and care for things, learning healthy lifestyles and exercising and eating right through our curriculum, along with parental-based and community-based projects. We then continued it on, and they continued on with a lot of hard work in the middle school, where you started collaboration, meaningful collaboration with business partners, so so that students could go out and have experiences in the workforce, not just a one-day internship or a day where they're just viewing someone in a job, but multiple days, so they get a well-rounded experience of what, if they're interested in that occupation, and what it could be for them. You know, they also really worked on focusing towards the end and creating a greater understanding for us as to what we were supposed to be doing in society. And most of that was through financial management and teaching us how to financially manage the resources we have, having every student have a checking account early on in the middle school, and really dealing with hands-on training. It continued on into the high school with pathways based on where we were academically and what our interests were working with parents. Developing a senior portfolio as we went through so that we could keep an ongoing record of what it is that we had learned and what it is, more importantly, we had done to apply that learning. And then we also focused in on, again, the financial management, but much more in depth instead of just the checking account. So a lot was done in that to create pathways for us.
The next person that wants to ask you a question, you used to tease, and I still do.
Yeah, he's got the wrong shirt on. Should be red, not black and gold.
Well, you can see what I'm wearing today, I've learned.
I don't see a Badger shirt on though.
That's underneath.
Okay. Well, I've been retired for 6 years, and I'm thinking back to 2014, and now I'm working in the community center, volunteering my time, because I certainly think that is a worthwhile new part of our community. But back in 2014, we seemed to be losing students because they lost interest in learning traditionally. Our four-year plan was often one pathway versus an exploration of many pathways beyond high school.
We knew we needed to provide opportunities for our high school students to explore options in various fields. Several of those fields very high paying, but which required a certification, not necessarily a four-year degree.
You know, and I talked about the hard work that had been done in the younger ages, but also really focusing on that final product for students and understanding where their interests were. I briefly touched on it previously, but a little more in depth was the amount of work that was done. In 2025, we've developed specific pathways for students based on, but not limited to, the following: engineering, manufacturing, world language, the arts, technology, humanities, and healthcare. These pathways were developed based on student interest, parental feedback, and then students are placed in each one of these pathways, but also have the ability to move back and forth based on interest and ongoing conversations with our guidance people and the school district of where, you know, I've gotten the opportunity to experience these different paths, and maybe that wasn't what I found it or thought it would be. So maybe I have a different interest and I want to go somewhere else. So there's flexibility. There's not the rigid that once you're in the pathway, this is where you're going to be for the rest of your life. These pathways have resulted in students coming out with post-secondary experiences. Not only the four-year liberal arts type of courses, the technical college, but also certifications such as CNA, ProStarts, electronics, welding, auto, Microsoft certifications for our students, so that if they choose not to go to a four-year school, they have the skills that would allow them to acclimate right into the workforce for really good paying jobs. The key with each one of these pathways was that, of course, technology has not advanced that far. The core subjects in each one of these pathways was tailored towards the student interest, so that it wasn't just as a standalone as it was in 2014. There's more integration of math, science, English into specific content areas of application, whether it's a CNA, whether it's welding, whether it's machining, whether it's auto. All of these different areas, we've tailored the curriculum to meet the individual student's interest and their pathway. An example, college-bound humanities track, they would be reading the classical novels. while those in the engineering would be focusing on reading of manuals, those things that are going to be applicable to what it is their interest shows. And one of the ways in which this has been so meaningful is the partnerships that we have developed and that have been developed with our local community, not just the city, but also local businesses. Engineering with General Engineering, Manufacturing, Forged Glass, Brakebush, World Language, partnering with UW, the UW system, MATC, the Arts, Portage Center for the Arts, Technology, MATC, Portage Plastics, Humanities, the City of Portage, and Healthcare with Divine Savior, which already had a good partnership, but this has only strengthened it and made it more meaningful, not just for them, but for our students. We now have students who are truly understand when they leave where their interests lie and where their strengths lie and what their direction in life will be. So this has been a real big change for us. Instead of trying to create a smattering that would provide a topical experience for students in specific areas or curriculum, it's really in depth, again, based on their abilities and their interests.
Before I bring my next friend up, I have a few questions about the future.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Rodgers isn't playing for the Vikings, is he?
No, that was just Brett Favre.
I didn't like him anyway, so.
Okay.
In 2014, parents really struggled with being a major part of their children's education. We were thinking, wouldn't it be great if government, community, businesses, churches, and schools could get together to help parents connect with their children and build a positive relationship with their schools?
You know, it's funny that you asked that because there's been a lot of really good work that's been done since that community forum. Before the beginning of each school year, all parents spend the day at school learning how they can help their child be successful. Not just in that grade level, but also the behavioral expectations, providing more resources for parents.
Wait a minute, how can parents miss work for a whole day?
It goes back to the community partnerships. We've really worked hard in developing community partnerships, not just with the city or businesses for internship, but the child and the focus on each student. Each one of all of our businesses are behind giving parents one day. 100% of our businesses are in support of giving parents one day so that we can create them the opportunity to learn more about what it is the school district is going to expect and how we can work together and how they can support not only their child but the school district in our common endeavor.
Wow, it really sounds like our community is coming together in 2025.
Yeah, and that's not even the best part. After our parents became knowledgeable with the needs of the children, what occurred was we saw less truancy, we saw greater amounts of success because of the engagement and understanding how they could support their children. Drug and alcohol use has declined, and our children in general are leading healthier and happier lifestyles.
Hello, old mate.
Hi.
So in 2014, the Portage School District had a traditional summer break. However, there's been interest by students, parents, and community about changing the school calendar. Has the Portage School District addressed other possible calendar ideas?
And in fact, we have. We have looked and developed a year-round school for children. We saw, and the school district saw many of the same things. They saw increased poverty, problems with childcare, problems that I think came about because of some of the things that were said at that community forum. People understanding the needs of our kids. The example I think that was continually talked about at that forum was kids having to go out and dive into dumpsters to find meals. The need for our community to have support in providing regular meals for kids. Declining enrollment was seen as an opportunity to bring more students and parents and families into our district because it does give them the opportunity to engage in school year-round. And having that consistency in school also allowed the slowing down or the elimination in some cases of this, what was referred to previously as a summer slide. You have 3 months off, Students weren't utilizing some of the resources that were given or weren't reading at all, and this provides a structure that supports students. It provided less stress for parents in trying to find daycare for one block of time over a 3-month period of June, July, and August, and it really created consistency as to what students would see in a real life setting. You don't necessarily work 9 months and then you have 3 months off. This provides that school is more reflective of the work environment for our students and families.
Before the last question comes up, I have a question about Dad. Has he gotten himself into any trouble lately?
You know, I wasn't expecting that question. No, he is happily retired. He and Mom are enjoying all the time that they have, traveling around, visiting all 5 children, and more importantly, visiting grandchildren.
Thanks, Nathan. So Nathan, I know it sounds like we got a little bit of static in our inner time connection here, so I'll make this brief. You know, as I'm closing up this workshop here, I'm a little concerned that there are a lot of really great ideas that aren't necessarily floating to the top, that aren't, you know, the common stuff that we all have, that we all think about, that didn't make the top 5 list, but are really great ideas that could really be impactful and life-changing. Like for me, I think that the arts really should play a more important role. That you know, a lot of research says they increase test scores across the board. They foster empathy and understanding in students. They increase student motivation. They give more opportunities for creative problem solving and critical thinking. So, did any of these kind of ideas that weren't top 5 ideas get any traction?
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up. In 2025, what's happened is schools are moving away from the idea that we need to be number 1. And we need to be number 1 as it relates to test scores and looking more at the holistic child. My father was bombarded with a lot of ideas in 2014 about the vision. Some people just came with their own agendas. Others rolled up their sleeves, and we were fortunate that we had a group of people who came, rolled up their sleeves, and really got to the meat of where we're at. For instance, it was brought about the idea of more of a partnership with the Portage Center for the Arts. And what it was is that it resulted in a collaboration with parents, students, and created a district-wide program that infused the arts in all K-12. Now, instead of just focusing on the academic achievement as it relates to a standardized test, now all students have the opportunity for classes in music, art, theater, dance, making holographic experience. And that, I think that's going to be huge because it allows the opportunity for each student to identify not just their pathway in career life, but pathway in their strengths. I mean, we've had a great sports program that's evolved, but this is an enhancement that was added to it. And really what it has done is it's created enrollment increases, it's created a greater understanding for students. It has increased, I believe, and many people believe, test scores and student achievement. This year is our 10th year in which we are performing at the Eppenberg Fringe Festival, and that's just one of the programs that the outcomes that this has allowed us to see. You know, it started in 2014 with the musical, Beauty and the Beast, and having the Tommy recognitions, and it continued to grow by allowing students to express themselves and identify what their individual talents are. This is something that has really grown.
Great. Sounds like a lot of hard work, but it sounds like it's really paid off. So thank you, Nathan, and well, thank you, Nathan.
I just have one more question.
Okay.
What do I have to do with this?
Exactly. Well, the important thing is just as with any other student, that's identifying and identifying where your interests are, working hard every day, and advocating for what you believe is the best. Because you are really the reason that we were there in 2014, and you were really the reason that we've seen all these significant changes implemented, was because you were part of the process. You advocated for what you felt was most important, but were willing also to put in the time and the effort to make sure that it came to fruition.
Thank you.
This is PCSD News with Walter Crankcase and Karen Keurig. Now, here's the news. Good evening. It's June 8th, 2025. Our lead news tonight is a success story. The 250 students graduating from Portage High School tonight represent an unprecedented cooperative effort between businesses, community, and schools. These graduates enter society with a strong foundation in life skills, built through the community's dedication to proper housing and nutrition. They are particularly noted for their excellent abilities in writing and verbal communication, tolerance, technology skills, financial literacy, honesty, integrity, and problem solving. For more on how this success was built, here is my co-anchor, Karen Keurig. Karen?
Thank you, Walter. Tonight we're here with Melanie Jones to share a success story that we have in our community. Melanie, thanks for being here with us tonight.
You're welcome.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about your story?
When I got pregnant at 17, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to be a parent. The school helped me learn how to be a good parent. I got the support I needed through parenting classes, and they were there when I needed them.
What other community supports were available to you?
Well, I can think of one time in particular when I lost my job and our family was struggling to just have the basics. Through the school and community meal program, we were able to get meals, and that was critical support at a time when we needed it the most.
And what happened as your son grew? What kind of supports were available through the school district for you and your son?
I really liked the fact that our elementary school is year-round. I felt like my son retained more and he was able to remember things instead of having that gap over the summer. And I also felt like that it helped me because I didn't have to pay for childcare during the summer, which was a big relief financially too. Those two things were awesome, and as he grew and when he entered the high school, I'm so proud that my son was able to, his whole senior year, he was able to take courses that were for college credit. So when he graduated, he pretty much had almost a year of college done that we didn't have to pay for.
That's
so that
fantastic.
was really awesome.
That's fantastic. Thanks for being with us here tonight to share your story about the success that you've had in the Portage School District and the Portage community.
You're welcome. Thank you.
When we return, we will hear from Susie Sportstar, Betsy on the Beat, and Nurse Nightingale.
Parents, are you looking for a school that integrates school, family, and community? Do you want your high schooler to graduate with the skills necessary to sustain themselves and prepare for the future financially, agriculturally, and entrepreneurially? Then Portage High School is a perfect fit for your family. At Portage High School, your student will have the opportunity to get hands-on experience in our state-of-the-art farm, enjoying the complete farming process, from tilling the soil to reaping the produce. To continue the process, the students will sell their goods in the student-run store. They will have the full entrepreneurial experience of promoting their business, selling their product, and maintaining the financial books. All students have a role in the working process of our sustainable school, and all students are provided a full range of college prep, tech school, and college courses. Portage High School is the school of the future. Open enrollment is now. Call 1-800-PORTAGE.
With me here today is Susie Sportstar. She's going to give us an update. Susie, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Karen. In our 3-year-old program, the children have been working on social skills and have just finished a book on Clifford's manners. Our 4-year-olds just completed an alphabet obstacle course. And our high school students have been out in the community participating in work-study programs at our wonderful local businesses.
Next up to give us an update is Betsy on the Beat.
Good morning. I'm Betsy on the Beat, out on the street in productive and purposeful Portage. Portage is a magnet community offering a Boys and Girls Club for ages birth through 5th grade with healthy interactive sessions every day. Portage is also home to the world-famous food pantry, accessible to families 24 hours a day. Nutritious foods available, staffed by senior volunteers. You'll truly find a community committed to excellence.
Here with me now is Ima Helper. She's here to give us an update on what's been happening. Welcome, Ima.
Hi. You know, I have found my calling. I'm a volunteer for the Portage newspaper. It's an award-winning newspaper, and you know, I think we have probably 300 volunteers that help with the community of the Portage school system.
Here with me now is Nurse Nightingale. Nurse Nightingale, thanks for being here today. Tell me what's been happening in the Portage School District.
Thanks for having me. I'm a physician's assistant and I work full-time at the Portage High School, and I have a physician on staff that I can call at any time that I need him. So it's really nice, and so I'm here 5 days a week for the students.
Wow. We've also heard a little bit about a support system. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It is fully integrated. So we have a pharmacy on staff, we have mental health services on staff, we have counselors, a wellness program that includes all of our physicals and our vaccinations for any of the kids. So everything is right here in-house. We don't have to go outside for anything.
Oh my gosh, what a fabulous service for our students and community.
It really is.
Also, a little bit about the rehab center that we've heard about.
It's absolutely top-notch, top of the line. It includes occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy services. And one thing that I forgot to mention on the other part was the parenting classes that are also very successful at our school.
Wow, thanks. Thanks so much for being here today and giving us an update.
Thank you for having me.
Up next is our weather report with Sky King.
The high-pressure system, which had stalled over Portage, has lifted. Conflict-produced storms, which do persist, are impacted by a strong front of community, economic, and mental health resources. A dervish of active hands-on learning and a fluid daily structure in the schools precipitate student academic and social readiness. These winds result in an increase in student global awareness and a greater probability of positive social and economic impact. Looking ahead to tomorrow, our prediction is a community of engaged and empathetic citizens in all walks of life.
This is Walter Crankcase, and that's the way it was, June 8th, 2025.
Hi there, my name is Sam Clemens, and I'd like to welcome you to the Portage News Network. Today is June 8th, 2025, and we're taking a closer look at what Portage Community School District has done to change the future of their students. We want to take a few moments to recognize all of the great community collaboration that has happened over the past 10 years to help guide our students with better possibilities inside and outside school day activities. Our PBIS program is now full swing at levels and unified between all the schools, creating uniform learning and uniform behavioral analysis throughout the schools. Our school's ability to keep up with current changing technology and budget changes, while constant community support even with funding issues still at hand, have not supported this community from implementing our year-round schooling, and our Student Services Department with a full-time social worker on hand. Today we're taking a closer look at all of the possibilities that Portage High School has offered. We like to say that our students are prepared for the future after high school with post-secondary options, whether it be a four-year college, two-year technical school, or an apprenticeship. We're here to let you know that Portage High School has lit up many opportunities for many people. Things are looking very bright here at Portage High School. As you can see, over the last 10 years, the Portage Community School District and the Portage Community City and County has worked together to help create a wonderful environment where students can learn and grow collectively. We can tell that things have been fixed here at Portage High School. We've seen over the last 10 years the Portage Community School District hammer out the problems with the pupil services. The new student services encompasses all grade levels from K all the way up through grade 12. It provides opportunities for all Portage students to get equal learning throughout the district.
Today's weather is a balmy 78 here in Portage. Please come to our revitalized downtown and check out everything we have to offer. Thanks.
With an increase in state funding for local education, Portage High School is now the champ at creating special opportunities for all students to succeed in their district. I'm Sam Clemens here reporting back 2025.
Appreciative of the affirmation you've given me. Since I took over office in April of last year, the superintendent of schools and myself had many meetings, talking about doing some collaboration, and you validated what we've been working on, and you just told us how much harder we're going to work on this, and it's been a wonderful opportunity. You've given me a homework assignment, but you know what that means? It means a homework assignment for all of you, because I've heard your commitments. I've heard about PAS, I've heard about the community center, I've heard about Portage, so together we will then make that happen. So thanks for your efforts over the last 3 days.
And I want to reiterate what Bill said. I mentioned it last night. Sometimes the greatest gift is time. Time and effort and thought. And we are going to make every little bit that you have given come to life. Sending out a summary of this, sending out, and I'm going to approach the board about, and specifically the board president, sending out a personal thank you letter from myself and him for the time that you have given, the thought you have given to all these ideas, along with a summary of all these. And then once we meet in July, having Drew come back and facilitate a discussion of, okay, what would those action plans look like at the end of July, sending that out to you prior to the annual meeting, inviting you on an annual basis to come back and hear and give us feedback on the progress that we have made in achieving this direction. So we're going to work very hard to make sure that this comes to life. I not only want to thank you, but I want to thank all the people who have put a lot of time into making sure this effort and this event was well coordinated. I think the unsung hero is Lori Hepler. Please give her a hand. With technology, food service, Margaret as always, a little bit of everybody helping to create a meaningful environment where good conversation can take place. I recognize that it's been a lot of time, but it's been good time. As a small token of appreciation, you each should have gotten your card in your inbox that gives you access to any school-sponsored event. I know that it does put in your athletics, but this is any school-sponsored event free of charge, which includes plays. This is just a small token of appreciation, and very small, for all that you have given over these last 3 days. If you leave and you have follow-up questions, I want you to feel free in giving me a call or any of the administrative team or through the board your comments or questions about this event or some of these items, so that as we move forward, there's a clear understanding of where everyone is coming from. So again, on behalf of the children of our district, I would like to say thank you and turn it over to Matt.
Thank you, Charles, and I just can't say enough. Again, thank you. Again, time is valuable, and you've given a lot of valuable time the last 3 days. I just want to kind of read our strategic plan policy, okay? So this is exactly what the board is going to have to work on. In order to accomplish district objectives, the board charges administration with developing revising a district strategic planning process that involves the whole K-12 system and will lead to long-term objectives being established. Planning process shall be cyclical and driven by district-wide data. We just accumulated a lot of data. Progress toward meeting district objectives should be reported at each annual meeting. This assures that district objectives will be long-term and the strategic planning process will revisit and revise the objectives every 3 to 5 years. District objectives should be SMART, and again, SMART is strategic, meaning long-term. We're not worried about next year, well, we are, but this planning process is going to the future. Measurable, so how are we going to measure what we're accomplishing on all these goals? Attainable, hopefully we've defined that today. Results-oriented and time-bound. So my vision of this process is we take these things, they're put on an action plan, who's going to do what when, and when we're going to be reporting results back to you. So a lot of work ahead, and I do appreciate everyone's efforts on helping move our district forward. Thank you very much.